Okay. There is a situation when goodwill to be negative. Okay. During your computations, you end up getting a negative goodwill. In this case, a bargaining purchase or a bargain purchase would have resulted, which means um, the net assets of the acquired subsidiary were worth more than the consideration transferred, which means you bought this subsidiary at a giveaway price. Okay. And in that case, you just have to debit the investment in the subsidiary as usual and credit profit or loss or retained earnings. You would have made a gain. Okay, so you are going to credit that goodwill. Okay, you're going to credit that goodwill uh, in the profit or loss or retained earnings. So by crediting profit or loss, you are recognizing a gain. Okay, most likely the reason for this development is that there could be some misstatement in terms of the fair values of the assets and liabilities. So in terms of Ifrs 15, Ifrs 3, okay, in terms of Ifrs 3 business combinations, you are required to review this goodwill. Okay, you are required to review this goodwill such that correct values are included in its computation. Okay, so after such a review, any negative goodwill remaining is then credited directly to the statement of profit or loss or retained earnings as per working number 5. You know our working number 5 for retained earnings. Okay, for if we are doing the computation for the statement of financial position of the group. Okay, so that's the case on the treatment of this negative goodwill. Okay, thank you. Okay, one more thing before I just completely shut off my camera. um I need to emphasize the point that goodwill is only calculated is only calculated at the date of acquisition. Okay, so if the goodwill at the date of acquisition is negative, then a bargain purchase would have happened. Okay, but if you first determine that the goodwill was positive and then it later became negative, that will be an effect of impairment. Okay, which is something else different from this. Okay, we are referring to situations which arose at the date of acquisition. Okay, then I would also want to emphasize on this double entry you are seeing there in yellow, that we are debiting investment in S, the investment in terms of the consideration that has been transferred, the fair value of the consideration transferred. So we are going to debit the investment. Um, okay, we are debiting the investment in the subsidiary in the parent's records. Okay, we are debiting the investment in the subsidiary and crediting the profit or loss with the negative goodwill. It is considered um, a gain. But one thing you need to understand is that no goodwill is to be recognized in the statement of financial position of the group. Okay, no goodwill is going to be recognized in the group. Okay, so um, we are only going to debit investment in the subsidiary. Okay, debit investment in the subsidiary and credit profit or loss or retained earnings. But you need also to remember that usually this entry is not going to balance. Why? Because the investment in the subsidiary would be a larger amount vis-a-vis the difference. Okay, and you need also to remember that the corresponding credit entry there, another credit entry that is required, is for the amount of money that has been transferred, or the amount, the value of the shares that have been transferred or that have been issued, or the amount of loan or bonds that has been issued, depending on the consideration type, remember. Okay, so I think those were the important points to note there. Okay, so if there is a negative goodwill, we are not going to see any goodwill in the statement of financial position. Please, I want to reiterate, I want to emphasize and re-emphasize this point. All right, and the goodwill, this negative goodwill, is the negative goodwill that has been obtained on acquisition, not in later or on later years. Okay, not in later years. All right, and one more thing. When we are saying crediting profit or loss or retained earnings, we are referring to the group retained earnings, and normally this negative goodwill is not going to affect the NCI. Okay, there is no share of this bargain to the non-controlling interest. It is a gain to the parent. It is a gain to the group, not to the non-controlling interest. So it is for retained earnings, group retained earnings. It has got impact on group retained earnings. That is the normal industrial practice. Okay, I think on this negative goodwill I have done justice to it, and I hope you guys are going to benefit from this video. And I would like to thank you all for being part, or for taking part to watching this video. Okay, for taking part in watching this video. These are my numbers, ladies and gentlemen. For future business, we can engage one another. Do not hesitate to contact me when you feel you've got a problem with your finance, accounting, management, research, all those business areas, business administration, and everything. We can help one another to grow. Until next time, may the good Lord continue to bless you. Good luck.